So if you're new into cryptocurrency, you might be wondering, what on earth are narratives and how do they apply to my investing? Narratives in cryptocurrency refer to trending ideas, stories or beliefs that shape how people perceive and value cryptocurrency. These narratives can influence investor sentiment, market trends and the adoption of new technologies. So for example, in 2020 and 2021, we've seen gaming, DeFi and NFTs, which pretty much took over the whole cryptocurrency space in terms of popularity. This is where a lot of people made a huge amount of money, as this is where a lot of investment allocations went. So today I want to take a look into what narratives do we think are going to be popular for 2024 and 2025. Are they going to be old narratives which are coming back, or do we have some new narratives coming in which we believe may take over? So the first one that I think is important to discuss is L1, L2 narrative. So this is layer 1 and layer 2 projects. This is one of the oldest narratives, but if you don't know what this means, I will break it down for you. So layer 1 is a term used to describe projects that have built their very own blockchain-based foundation and ecosystem, and this allows developers to build their own software applications on top of them. So one of the most popular examples of this is Ethereum, and decentralized exchanges such as Uniswap are built on top of Ethereum. The downside of layer 1s is that so many projects that have been launched on here have launched with an initial sky-high market cap, so there's very little upside for us retail investors on these. Looking at layer 1s, it does seem to be a more mature narrative now, and there is less upside than the small and more up-and-coming sectors. So if layer 2, if anybody happens to not know what this is a term used to describe projects which are then built on top of the layer 1 blockchains like Ethereum. So they are designed to increase transaction speeds, reduce transaction fees, and help layer 1 ecosystems to scale. So instead of applications building on the layer 1s, they can build onto the layer 2 to decrease transaction costs, increase the speed, and overall faster and more efficient application for less cost. So another narrative which I believe will make a strong comeback in 24 and 25 is gaming. So the revolutionizing factor for games is that you have to have a really strong game in terms of the graphics and the overall in-game story. A major element to contribute to the staying power of the games is that it is difficult to build an ecosystem around your game where you can move resources such as the points in games currencies or items from one game to another. It is also very difficult to create a thriving and long-term in-game economy. So if we looked at the last cycle, a lot of games were trying to force crypto and force NFTs into games, and this took away from the focus of what the gamers really want, which is a fun game that is not solely focused on being play to win or play to earn. And if projects can introduce crypto and NFTs and such into the games without taking away the enjoyment for the gamers, then I think we could really see this take off again. So another older narrative, and we just mentioned it there, is NFTs. So personally, I have a bit of a brain freeze with NFTs. I'm not going to go into them too much because they're something that don't make a great deal of sense to me personally, if I'm being honest. I think in some ways NFTs in the last cycle were the easiest and fastest way to extract money from people who didn't really know what they were doing. Nobody really knew what the use cases of them were, apart from obviously some higher level people, but yeah, they don't make a great deal of sense to me. I think that for all of their potential and value in terms of as an innovation, I feel like they didn't realise the full potential in the last cycle because the use cases that they were applied to did not fully take advantage of what I think they were supposed to be. I think that in this upcoming cycle, I think we will see a lot more NFT art. I think they'll have a lot of drops and there will be a lot of mints. But I think you will see NFTs becoming part of other aspects of crypto, other aspects of applications and use cases. And I do think that this is where they will thrive. I think we'll see more brands and games launching NFTs, and we'll likely see different organizations using them as a component of blockchain technology to solve some of the problems that we're seeing with AI generated content. So a couple of newer narratives that I thought would be good to discuss. So the first one is real world tokenization. So this isn't new, it has been around since, I think it was around about 2010, but it is something that we haven't really seen much of yet. And I think could be a really big talking point through 2024 and 2025. I believe that there have been some companies working on it. There have been some that have been more successful than others. For example, Polymath is an example of real-world asset tokenization. So this is a platform which is specialising in security token assurance and management. It provides a more streamlined process for creating and managing security tokens, ensuring all compliance with regulatory requirements. I don't think that we really had the space or the maturity in the technology in order to make this really happen at scale. But now that we are starting to see some real-world asset tokenization start to become a conversation at much higher levels of finance, you're starting to see people executing and doing it. We have seen hundreds of millions of US treasuries, for example, being traded in a tokenized format. And I have a feeling that this could just be the start of something that could effectively be massive. And the final one for today is, I think, the hottest topic in cryptocurrency this year, and it is AI. So AI had pretty much taken off running in 2023 because of the popularity of ChatGPT. I think most people have heard of or played around with ChatGPT. I remember when I was first shown it, I was amazed by what it could do. And I genuinely use it to make my work a lot simpler. So in my job, I have to help clients build out what we call a knowledge base, which our agents then use to provide customer support to different companies. So the knowledge base has a standard response for every single scenario that you can possibly imagine that would come through as a complaint. So my issue is that I get too sympathetic towards the customers. And we had a client that was really, really strict on everything in regard to customers. So I needed something that would make the standard response emails less emotional, if that makes sense. So I needed something that would take the emotion out of it. So I'm not constantly saying, I'm sorry you feel that way, or I'm sorry this happened, because they were super, super strict. And so what I'd done was I used ChatGPT to pretty much come up with standard responses and plug them into the knowledge base. And this probably saved me like a good 3 or 4 days of sitting there trying to work out how to make the emails less emotional without then thinking I was being mean. So it was huge. Everybody was using it. But anyway, back to the point. Is AI going to be as huge as what has been predicted, or is it just become a little bit of a buzzword for developers to get their projects funded? I don't believe that blockchains can add any benefit to AI applications anytime soon, because they aren't really solving any of blockchain's biggest issues. And there's a lot of obviously other issues with blockchain that needs to be kind of ironed out first. I also don't think that there is any major technological breakthrough by using AI in cryptocurrency, because it doesn't do anything for cryptocurrency, if that makes sense. There aren't any AI features that can help the users. It doesn't increase the blockchain speeds, it doesn't decrease the transaction fees, and it doesn't bring any more users in automatically. So, and I don't think there's any AI powered like trading bots. I could be wrong on that though, but I don't think there's any that I've heard of recently. You can't actually even ask ChatGPT anymore for its opinion really on particular coins. I think if you put it into ChatGPT, it comes up and kind of advises you that from its last knowledge update in 2022, this is all the information it has, and it's pretty much a list of things that you should be doing as research anyway. None of the huge AI platforms like ChatGPT and OpenAI have any plans to adopt crypto from what I have last looked into. People are able to use these tools just fine without putting crypto or blockchain into the mix. And that's why I think that the hype with AI is going to make it more of a short-lived narrative in cryptocurrency. It might not be, I could be totally wrong on that, but that's just kind of my current feelings on it. So crypto was created to solve very specific problems, but sometimes the sector still has the belief that crypto can solve absolutely everything in the world. So I would kind of carry out like your risk assessments on this before going all in on any AI projects. And whilst I do personally love them, and I believe that they can do very, very well, it is worth noting that they may well be kind of over-promising and end up under-delivering on this. So overall, I think the main thing to remember is that narratives do drive everything. The projects that survive and thrive longer are the ones that also have strong fundamentals behind them. So if your goal is to make money, absolutely look at the narratives, look at what's trending, look at the popular ones. But if you then want to keep that money, make sure that you're also looking into the fundamentals of the project. So let me know what your favourite narrative is for 2024 in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one.